All right, this is Ron Brignac, and we have Sherry on the camera with Hickory Hill Pastures. Super Bowl Sunday weekend. So what are we doing here on the farm? Well, we're working outside. Have to work on the log splitter and have to do quite a few things outside. But first, we have to make sure that we have a good meal. So what are we doing today? Come on in. Let me show you what's happening here. So we weren't able to make it to the farmer's market today to pick up our brisket. So I'm using the tri-tip roast that I have, and we're going to have our seasonings here. We'll show you that in just a minute. Then I have some baked beans that I'm going to be cooking. And you'll see here a mixture of quite a few things. Come over here so you can kind of see what all I'm putting in it. All right, so we're going to start off. I put some of the dry beans on. And we're going to add some more Great Northern beans. I have some navy beans in there. So 3 types: black beans, northern beans, and navy beans. All in here. They're going to simmer for a little while, and then we'll add all the other nice ingredients. We have brown sugar. We're going to have some of our bacon, our brown sugar. We have 2 types of bacon that we have: the sea salt only, and then we have one that has sugar on it. All of it's raised on pigs on pasture and fed organic feed, in addition to what they get out of the pasture. It's going to have some molasses in it, onions, tomatoes, pepper, kosher salt, some cloves. It's a great recipe. That is going to cook underneath our brisket or our tri-tip roast. So it's going to pick up a lot of that fat. The drippings will go into it. I have an aluminum container underneath it. It's going to have water in it. Then I'll have another container above that where I'll have the beans. If you don't put that water underneath it, the beans will burn. You'll get all those drippings. Top of it. All right, so here's the tri-tip roast that we have. I think we're just showing you that. And also making our barbecue sauce. It's a family barbecue sauce, and I did not get the recipe till I was probably 39 years old. They thought I would sell it. And that goes out, a shout out to the Trammels, which is my dad's sister's family. Uncle Ted, Aunt Carol, Rick, and Julie. It's their recipe. They passed it down to my dad years ago, and it's a great recipe. It starts out with onions. We have ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, and a lot of other ingredients. Can't tell you, but you'll see it in the pot here in just a minute. We have Sherry. She's making, I don't like mayonnaise, so she's making a Greek yogurt tuna salad. Is that right? That's what you're making? Yeah. So she has all of her great things that she's making. And I gotta have my snack. I like my protein snacks, energy, fiber snacks during the day, so also I'm making my energy balls, and you can find these recipes on Pinterest. But I do it a little different. I toast the unsweetened coconut. I have my flax seeds, sunflower seed, almonds. I have my peanut butter. I use the natural peanut butter, creamy. I use the quick oats that are kind of chopped up versus the whole oats. And then I have my honey, and I get the honey from the farmer's market. And then also we have some dark chocolate chips. Coconut, ground coconut's already in here. Not ground coconut, toasted coconut's already in here. So we'll combine those. We'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. The beans are going. We'll show you what that looks like in a minute. I'm going to put the rub on the brisket. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. All right. Tune in. You'll find out how to hold my mess. It started, I threw all the ingredients in and turned the mixer on high, and it started kicking up. All right, so I'm doing the energy balls right now. I added all the ingredients. I forgot to tell you that I have vanilla in here as well. So you can come look and see what it looks like here. So that's how it looks now. And it will pack. I'll put it all in the refrigerator, let it chill for 30 minutes, and then they'll be ready to eat. All right. They taste good. Okay, so earlier you heard me say that I don't like mayonnaise. So Sherry wants me to try the tuna salad without mayonnaise, but made with Greek yogurt. So it tasted a little bit earlier, but now I'm gonna go for a full bite on it, and let's see how it looks. You may be crazy that I don't like mayonnaise, but I guess it goes back to some childhood memories. That's good, my love. I like it. It's good. So this is something that I would eat. All right, so this is the recipe that I have for my rub for my brisket and my tri-tip roast that we're going to use on a smoker. So we're going to put it on the smoker. I'm going to do a heat smoke, not a cold smoke, probably around 175, 200. And let's look at the ingredients that I'm putting into it. So we have the two. Normally I have a larger brisket, but here I have 2 tri-tip roast. And then so we're going to have some brown sugar. We have some coriander. We have kosher salt that's going in it. We're going to have some coarse black pepper. You can grind your own black pepper. I like to do that. We're going to have some thyme in it. We're going to have caught a wolf with something. Excuse me. Excuse me. Goodness. We're going to have some ground mustard. We're going to have some paprika, Spanish style paprika. We're going to have, which one's this?
Cumin.
Cumin. Get it? Yeah, I could have tasted that one. Figure that one out. And then we're going to have some ground mustard. All right. So I'm going to mix all that together. Probably need to get my whisk out for this one. Okay. So first of all, got to look at the apron that my wife gave me. It says, "Flipping Awesome Papa." That's what I am. 3 grandkids. All right, so I think I said ground mustard twice, now that I'm thinking about it. We have ground mustard and we have garlic powder. It would have been the other one. All right, so now that I have that in, my other glove broke. I need some larger gloves. We're going to just mix this up, and I like to just really rub this in. And I'm going to use, in case I have some leftover rub, I'm going to use 2 different hands on this one. And we're going to do both sides of this. You can see I really generously cover this. And you want to get all the edges of this. And I'm going to keep that. I'm going to trim. I should have done this earlier. I'm going to trim some of this fat off, but I want the fat on it to drip into the beans, but it's too much fat, so I need to trim some of that off. So let me do that, and I'll come right back to it. All right, so I flipped it over and trimmed it. So we have about 3/4 of an inch of fat, and that's just too much. So I'm going to cut some of that back. Still want the meat to be seasoned, so we'll have this seasoned. And smoke will still get to it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave some of this fat on here so that as it drips, it'll go into my beans. We're not going to have all this. We're going to cut some of that off. So let's go ahead and use the rest of this on this one here. Okay, so another tool that I don't have and I wish I had is a little device. It's kind of spring-loaded. It has probably 50 different needle-like or little pieces of metal on it, like a needle-like. You push it in, and it breaks up that layer, some of the layers of fat that's in the meat, the brisket. So I like to do that as well. I need to just invest in one of those. Instead, what I do is I just kind of use this. So we're breaking up the fat that's in here. And I used to not do this. It does add, helps tenderize it. We're going to cook it slow anyways. Right here you can feel that it's a little more tough. So I think this certainly helps out. And let's put the rest of that seasoning on here, that rub. Get it all over here. All right, next I'll show you what it looks like on the smoker. Okay, so the beans have been on a light boil, and from earlier you notice I put northern beans, navy beans, and black beans in it. So this is what we're going to use for our baked beans, our barbecue style baked beans. So I have my cast iron pot here, have a little olive oil in it, and we're going to start rendering. This is about half a pound of bacon that we're putting in. So we're going to go ahead and add this. We're going to let that fat render. And let me just use this spoon here. I'll use it. Alright. So we're going to let that render for just a moment, then we'll add the onions. We'll come back to that in just a moment. Bacon, come on in, love. And that's my wife on the camera. Let me show you what I have here. So we have about a half a pound of bacon in this cast iron. Now this is our Hickory Hill Pastures bacon that we're using. We're rendering the bacon, and then we have a host of other ingredients that we're going to add in just a minute. We'll come back when we do that. Okay, so the bacon has rendered some, and so then I've added the onions. We're going to let that caramelize just a little bit, then we'll add the other ingredients. All right, so now we're going to add, this is 2 cups of like a hickory smoked barbecue sauce. You can use various types. We are making our own barbecue sauce, but it's going to be a different flavor than what I want in the beans. So we'll go ahead and add this to it. Scoop all this out. Make sure the fire is on low. We're going to add a cup of beef broth. Add that, stir that into it. We're going to add our brown sugar, and I'll show you the quantities down below. We'll post that. Adding the brown sugar into it. We're adding some kosher salt. Okay, so now we're going to add our last piece, our ground mustard, and an 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground cloves. We'll add that in, stir that into it, so I get all of those cloves out of there. All right. Now we're going to add, now I don't like to add tomatoes to cast iron because the acid can really eat into it, but I'm not going to leave it in the cast iron too long. To some degree you can do it, so I'm going to add, this is more than 2 cups. I don't want to add all of the 2 cups. I'm just going to add, actually I want to add the equivalent to a 16-ounce can, so we'll just go with about that for now. Okay, let this simmer, and then let me add the beans to it. Already drained the beans, so we'll add these beans into it. Okay. Forgot to add my molasses. Got to have the molasses in here. So let's do that. Doggone it, it's kind of hard to get all of that out. And there's different types of molasses. I use the full flavor versus the mild flavor of that molasses. I like the full flavor if you're going to add it to the beans. All right, I'm going to wash it in the, try to get as much of that out as I can. All right, good. Have that. Stir that up a little bit. I'll add a little bit more of this tomato in here. Guess I could have added all of it. This doesn't look like the baked beans that I want it to be, but it will. And we're going to add a little black pepper to taste. We're just going to see how it tastes here in a little bit. We're going to let all of this simmer for just a little bit. Now, 2 different ways you can go from here. This needs to simmer for about 2 hours. You can do that in the oven on 325 and let it simmer. But I like to go a step further. I like to add, I want to put this underneath my brisket that is smoking. It's a heat smoke. Around 200 degrees is what I'm going to shoot for. It's not a temperature controlled smoker. You'll see that in the video tomorrow. But this will be where I want some of the grease. It's not going to be a brisket. I'm going to use a triple tip roast since I didn't have the brisket. The fat will drip down into this. I'll have 2 pans in the smoker, one with water to help shield the heat from getting to the beans. I don't want the beans to burn. I've tried to burn the beans before. And then I will have the beans in another container above that. Since we're going to use this on the smoker tomorrow, I'm actually going to shut this down, and then we'll have a recap tomorrow. So be sure to tune in tomorrow. You'll get another video of us smoking the meat, the triple tip roast that we have, and we have our barbecue beans that will be inside the smoker. We're going to be getting all that great flavor from the brisket or the triple tip roast. And then we'll show you the finished product of our barbecue sauce that we're making. Family recipe. Can't give you the recipe, but I'll show you what it looks like. All right, tune in tomorrow. Ron Bregnack and Sherry on camera, Hickory Hill Pastures.